Chuck Kent for Branding Magazine. This month on the Branding Roundtable, we're talking nonprofit branding. You'll hear from a Harvard professor, a CMO from an international non-for-profit, and today we are in Chicago with UCAN, a leading and very long-term nonprofit, with CEO Tom Vanden Berk, and also Brian Walker from their branding agency, AE Marketing Group.
UCAN is an organization that believes that youth who suffered trauma can become our future leaders. This is done by serving over 10,000 kids and families every year through a consistent presence, creative programming, and unrivaled diversity.
You recently refocused the brand. What was the impetus for that?
We had a vision about youth who suffered trauma can become your future leaders, and that really captured the culture of the organization and what we believed, but we didn't know how to take it to the next level. Brian came along and kind of said, hey, what we are going to do is take what you believe, pull it out from all the organization, and then help you focus it, which we were kind of all over the place with it. We knew what we wanted to do, but we didn't have the material or the talking points or anything else connected, and really we're very excited that Brian took this on, because he just captured all of our attention and made it meaningful for us.
So you were clear on vision and mission, but not really how to posit that for easy understanding?
Yeah, Chuck, I think that's a common thing, unfortunately, with nonprofits. Typically, no one really owns the brand. Brand is kind of put to the side. The focus is usually around the mission, or in some cases, the fundraising elements. And I think in the nonprofit space, and if you look at a group like UCAN specifically, when you've been around since the Civil War, you're going to have a strong brand hiding in the weeds somewhere. The problem is when you've been on a journey for, say, 150 years, you're probably going to have a lot of baggage. So when I came as an outsider kind of looking in, I know one of the things that I thought was interesting is the UCAN brand itself was kind of overshadowed, if you will, by some of the great different programs, and including the capital campaign that was in the works at the time. And there tended to be some missed opportunities and a silent voice that we needed to kind of bring forward.
So you had to make sure there was really an operative master brand and not just a lot of sub-brands.
Absolutely, and if not paying as much attention as they could to their brand and then not being able to amplify that brand was doing a disservice to the ultimate mission that they're serving.
Well, in terms of discovery of really what people were or weren't thinking about the brand out there, how did you involve internal and external orientation?
Yeah, I think what was interesting is any good brand, whether it's nonprofit or a for-profit brand, really needs to look at its internal and its external forces that influence it and try to see if they're within balance. So what we did is we went out and, as Tom said, we talked to a lot of the youth and families that are throughout the UCAN system and around Chicago that are receiving services and support from some of the meaningful programs that UCAN offers. We also talked to the staff. Employees, as you know, Chuck, are key to a brand. And then ultimately the leadership. And what was really interesting to me is you could see passion resonate throughout those three groups, but they also looked at it all through a different lens. In some ways, I shouldn't have been surprised that the board was very future-focused, very visionary, trying to think about how we could solve future problems, raise money, support this lost generation in the city of Chicago. And the staff itself was really focused on providing the clinical services and really focused in on the programs and how impactful the programs are. But then when you got out into the field and you actually talked to the kids and the families and the moms, they really looked at UCAN as this emotional connection. I'll never forget some of the first people I talked to, used phrases like, UCAN keeps me off the street corner, UCAN makes me a better man, UCAN is a family that I've never had in my life, really an emotional lens. And I think one of the things that helped resonate with Tom and his leadership team was that, again, there's a strong brand here, but are we missing a little bit of that emotional void in terms of the connection between who we serve, who our staff is, how we communicate that, how can we design better and more meaningful programs around that, And then how do we ultimately communicate that to the marketplace so they see that emotional connection?
So the nonprofit world, a lot of professionals in social work and clinical psychology and those kind of things, we look more at the healing process, et cetera, as opposed to the emotion. And really when it comes down to it is, with the kids, we had a very emotional brand, but the staff were all over, and didn't quite understand the importance of that emotion and that brand and how we could pull it all together. So now our orientation starts with the vision and talks about the brand and talks about how each of you represent the brand and what our youth are thinking about it. So it's been transformational to the whole organization.